I'm really sad. It's really hard to convey like how difficult it is to want to sleep, to know you can try to sleep, to even get to a state of sleep and have your anxiety wake you up. I was really hoping I wasn't gonna have to make this video. So it's 3:30 in the morning, and I've been having some issues sleeping with the last 2 or 3 nights. It's hard to explain, but I kind of want to try just to see if anyone else has been through something similar. But during the day, I'll mostly be okay with maybe like very mild anxiety sometimes, but have so far been mostly fine. And then at night, I have these like, after I fall asleep or feel like I've fallen asleep, then I have like really intrusive thoughts, or like, and it's weird because the thoughts aren't always bad, they're just constant and they're strange, and like they just like take up my whole thought process. Like it's like tonight, I'm trying to think, so I went to bed at like midnight, and then it felt like throughout, like while I was asleep, I just kept thinking about one thing over and over and over and over again until eventually it just felt like overload. And I would wake up and it felt like I was almost never really asleep because it just felt like I never actually got into a sleep state. And I have a knockoff Fitness Pal, and I have been monitoring that through the night because I've woken up about 3 or 4 times, and I've gone back to sleep about 3 or 4 times, and as I check it, every time I wake up I have this massive spike in my heart rate, and I don't know which comes first. I don't know if I have a spike in my heart rate while I'm sleeping and it causes me to have anxious thoughts and wake up, or if I'm having anxious thoughts, it's causing me to suddenly, like, causing my heart to spike up from the anxiety, and then I'm waking up. I haven't started doing anything differently or feeling differently for this to have happened within the last 2 or 3 days. The only thing I can think of is because we're in quarantine and I'm gluten-free, most of the food that I have is, and just like you guys, most of the food I have is frozen and pantry stuff, which makes it all very high in salt. And it's the only thing I can really think of because I've been having sort of like, I guess, pressure around my temples and around my head throughout the day. Sometimes I'll feel like pulsing at night when I lay down, and it'll wake me up sometimes. And I sort of attribute that to like taking in too much salt sometimes, or having high blood pressure. I have high cholesterol naturally, but I don't really know what that means. I know that it's serious. It's just, no matter what I do, my mom has it also. She's in like amazing shape and she works really hard to try to keep it down, and it's just never been a thing she could do. And I don't know if maybe I'm feeling the effects of that with not being able to exercise the same way, not being able to eat as, good as I normally do. But it's hard because everyone can handle and everyone does handle, but I feel like I could handle anxiety anxiety can do a lot to me. The panic attacks, the bad thoughts, the OCD sort of things that I do when it comes up. But I think one of the hardest things that happens is when it starts affecting your sleep. And I've had sleepless nights, like I've stayed up because I was too anxious, but to have it be the thing that keeps waking you up when you are physically able to sleep is really hard. And there isn't a lot of it's very hard to find information on whether or not your subconscious is experiencing anxiety while you sleep, or if you never went to sleep, or it's just sort of hard to track why I'm not sleeping and what could be the case and what's happening first to figure out what to diagnose. So I'm gonna stay up for the rest of the night. I'm gonna try, because I just don't think I'll be able to sleep at this point. I've just been woken up with, you know, my heart pounding and in the middle of the night and with weird, constant circling thoughts. So, I have a medication that I took forever ago that I kind of like. It's called amitriptyline. I'm gonna give that a shot, I think, tomorrow night or tonight. But the only problem I have with amitriptyline is it's a great anti-anxiety medication. I love the way it makes me feel and I sleep really well on it. My biggest issue is that after taking it for like 3 or 4 days, I start to have like cardiac reactions. My resting heart rate jumps up from like, I don't know, normally it's probably resting closer to 60, somewhere between 60 and 70, but on amitriptyline it's like 80 to 90. And then my blood pressure goes up pretty heavily, which are side effects of it. They're just rare, but I do have them, and it obviously, as a long-term medication, that can cause some issues, especially with, I don't know, it just seems like a problem. And obviously I don't need to add more physical ailments to myself, especially ones I can guarantee, like heart issues. So I'm honestly just, I'm really sad. It's really hard to convey, like, how difficult it is to want to sleep, to know you can try to sleep, to even get to a state of sleep and have your anxiety wake you up. Like, it doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter if you followed all the right steps before, and if you tried to have, you know, a good day without anxiety. That night you had no way of knowing whether you were gonna be like a complete victim of your anxiety anyway. And I can't even tell you what's actually happening. I don't know if it's the anxiety first, or the bad sleep, or the diet, or if I'm having heart stuff and I need to look at that first and figure out if that's just something that's spiking in the middle of the night and causing everything else. But yeah, it feels like there's so many times where it feels like sleep is so close. Like I can reach out and almost touch it, and then it just moves away slightly, and every time I try to get there, it just drains me more and more and more. And I honestly don't know if this is something anyone else has gone through, because when I try to Google these kinds of things, it's just not helpful. It's hard to understand like what people are talking about when they're describing their own experiences. So I hope I explained what I was trying to. Maybe it'll ring a bell for you guys, but it's just really hard. I feel like things have been going kind of okay mentally, and this night just kind of halted it. And this happens a lot. Like you feel like you're on a right path, and then something happens and just sort of squishes it all, and you feel like you're back at square one. But yeah. So it is the morning. Well, actually, it's the next day at 4:30. I was able to eventually like attempt to get some kind of sleep somewhere around 7 a.m. But today feels really bad. I'm having a lot of like, I just feel really sick. It was really hard to not like have the right amount of sleep last night. Even I technically like came out with like, I don't know, maybe 7 hours of sleep, but because I went to bed at 1, woke up at 3, went back, woke up at 4, stayed awake till 7, then went back to sleep for like 3 hours. I am just completely worn out. my brain feels fuzzy and breathing feels heavy and my whole body feels like it just can't do anything. It's just a really hard day and it's taking a big hit on my mental health. So I feel like today is just going to be like a lay in bed and hope I recover kind of day. I really hope I can sleep tonight because I don't want to feel this way. I even tried to go on a walk and that just, it felt good at the moment, but as soon as I was done, I felt like I couldn't catch my breath or do anything else. I just feel very like I don't want to move or do anything. I asked you guys some questions, I think, last night when I was awake, asking if you guys had personal experiences with some of the stuff that I thought I was going through, and I'm definitely still curious because it's very, out of 3 years, you know, sometimes I still have totally new symptoms and new things that happen. It's just hard. Honestly, I wish I had more to say. I don't really have anything to say. I feel like a total space cadet and I feel barely alive today. But hopefully in the next video it'll feel really different. I'm gonna do a really fun video with Kyle next time. I think you guys are gonna like it. And it'll be a nice sort of change. I'm also thinking about starting a podcast. I don't know if I want it to be specifically anxiety related or mental health related. It might be. I have a lot of different interests that I'm curious of potentially diving into and putting on this channel. And if you guys had ideas, I would love to hear some. If you had ideas for podcasts that you've wanted to hear, or you know, maybe podcast topics that you wanted to specifically hear about. Sorry, I'm over here playing with my cable. But yeah, I could also just use some encouragement, I guess. I don't know if I'm actually sick. I don't know if it's allergies or if it's anxiety or if it's something else, but whatever it is, it's not good today. That's all. I'll see you guys around. I'm sorry that this one couldn't be super uplifting, but you know, sometimes it's not always. Well, this channel isn't really like that, but also some days are just bad. I guess you just have to be upfront about it and look forward to a day when things aren't bad. Thanks for listening, guys. I look forward to talking to you in the comments, so I'll talk to you later.
McCree, you okay? You okay? Hi, baby. Sweet.
You filming me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Are you holding chicken?
Yeah.
Why are you holding chicken?
Because I wanted to weigh it with the only scales up here.
You're gonna weigh our chicken on my bathroom scale.
Yeah.
It's not working?
No.
What do you mean it's not working? Here, pick up the chicken, hold it, get on the scale, then take the chicken away. Oh my god, my bathroom. Oh. So, we're all desperately waiting.
I think it's 4.4 pounds.
Doesn't it say on the package?
No. I know it does.
How much is it?
4.4. So like I said, I was testing the accuracy of our bathroom scale, and it was successful.